Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world's famous juggler, Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Man, I'm good, Ozzy. I was watching this film and made me really want to go to the theaters, and I am looking forward to the new, what was it? Doctor Strange that's coming out. So I think I'm going to have to go in a shaking seat and go watch it.
Right.
How are you doing, Ozzy?
I'm fantastic. Also with us, ladies and gentlemen, Flesh Wound producer Todd.
Good evening.
Chillin'?
Always.
Why good evening? That's very formal.
Well, it's from the other show.
Are you still nervous because your kid's still watching Transformers?
No. It's an Alfred Hitchcock thing, which actually kind of plays into tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
uncultured fair. Swine, Ozzy.
I apologize. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this week we are reviewing and discussing the film Matinee, released on January 29th, 1993. Todd, do you have a trailer ready?
I do.
Let's roll it.
How could such a thing happen, Dr. Cabal?
The ant's saliva must have gotten into Bill's bloodstream and gone straight to his brain, just as the radiation, which is measured in units called Roentgens, was released.
And that's how he became a...
Mant.
Gotcha.
For the kids of Key West, Florida, there was nothing scarier than a monster matinee.
Lawrence Wolfe, the master of movie horror, exterminates you with Mant.
The story of Mant is based on scientific fact, on theories that have appeared in national magazines.
But in the fall of 1962,
a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on the island of Cuba.
They got the biggest scare of all.
They're gonna bomb us?
The country is on red alert.
And what a perfect time to open a new horror movie.
That'd be the best show to take a girl to.
The whole world's gonna blow up anyway, so we should just do whatever we want.
You know, last guy she went out with in reform school?
He did teach me a lot.
What about?
About my body.
Think if the bomb were about to fall, she'd do it with me?
Wait till you see the feelers on this thing.
Uno, dos, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Some of it's stage lighting, some of it's magic show stuff, but the big studios, none of them have anything like it. You never, ever turn one above 6.
This is it!
From Joe Dante, director of Gremlins.
You see what he's putting back? The showmanship.
The bombs are falling!
You think this is some kind of picnic for me?
I'm still concerned about that bomb thing.
Little question of taste?
No, but your younger patrons, you could have some seat wetness.
John Goodman.
I love this business.
Matinee.
Man, I've seen this twice.
I don't know what it is. I think I have some predisposition to just liking any movie made by Joe Dante.
Yes. I was worried.
Well, because here's the thing is that as you guys know, I mentioned before, the movie Inner Space. I love. Everybody loves Gremlins. I mean, some people hate Gremlins too. I think those people just hate the world. So when you had mentioned this, Todd, I saw it was directed by Joe Dante, and I was, all right, let's go. And from the very first, sorry, I'm just jumping into my initial thoughts here, but from the very first scene, just seeing John Goodman in his character and just trying to knock off the Alfred Hitchcock gimmick, and just his opening monologue just set the tone for this whole thing. And I got to say, it has won an award that I'll reveal later on my review. But for now, Todd, how about your initial thoughts?
Well, this one I've loved for forever. I mean, I'm a fan of movies about movies, so this kind of falls into that. You mentioned Hitchcock. He's really, really based more on William Castle, other than his look.
Because, well, I'm not a big horror guy. You're the big horror guy.
Yeah.
So
well, this is more
clarifying.
sci-fi, but yeah. But like the stuff like the seat buzzers and all that, William Castle did all those gimmicky things
Got
to
it.
get you into theaters, and a lot of them are just straight up, from it, which makes sense because Joe Dante loves that era of film, so it's perfect and it fits in. Yeah, I remember this came out. I was a fan. I was actually the only time I went to Universal Studios Florida was at the time they were making it, and I got to see the big standee that they show when they're putting together, and a few other props. They were like sitting outside of one of the rides in the queues.
Huh.
So I love movies. This is about a director. So and Joe Dante. Love this movie since '93.
Yes, absolutely. Greg.
I'm actually a little disappointed in this movie. First off, I do have to say there were moments, like all the parts of the movie that I was like, of the movie in the movie, that I was like, this feels very Lost Skeleton. I enjoy this.
Yeah, except it wasn't the whole 90 minutes.
Right.
And the people in the fake movie acted better than the ones in the real movie.
Right.
So let's not go down that rabbit hole. I knew you were going to say that.
Oh yeah, well, how would he died? I was waiting for
exactly. Everyone knows. So, but like, I am definitely disappointed in this movie because it's not popular. Like, I'd never heard of this movie.
Okay.
And this was a fun trip, man.
So you're more okay. You're disappointed in its reception or its response than the actual movie itself. Okay, I was concerned for a second.
Yeah,
and that's why we do this show.
Swerve.
Exactly. Yes, precisely. Well, yeah, and you had at the very beginning at the very beginning you saw Lawrence Woolley, John Goodman's character, in that showman trying to get to the theater. But then when you saw him at the gas station and he sees a statue of an alligator and he's going, Alaman, Manigator, and he's just trying to think of like just constantly going, and it's kind of it's a fun character to watch, a fun anti-hero, so to speak. Like a guy who he mentions at one point, like, I'm going to need to get paid, in advance. Well, sir, I can assure you, we've never shorted anybody. Really? You should try. Like, oh man, just he was so just in tune to who this guy was. And for any wrestling fans that could be listening or watching, this guy is the perfect Paul Heyman. Just that complete sleaze, but there's still some charm to him. So you want to like him, but he's dishonest, but it's still like, It was just so much fun to watch. And John Goodman's character, I think, was only in the film probably about half the time.
Yeah.
The other half of the movie was focused around a character named Gene, who was played by Simon Fenton, where his father was in the Navy and he had a little brother and he loved monster movies. And one thing that I really appreciated that was established early in the film is that it opens up with him and his brother inside the movie theater, and he's trying to scare his little brother. But as they're heading home, a Navyman approaches them and asks them if they want to shoot tree frogs. And the older brother says, no, we're okay. And when the little brother asks why not, as they're walking away, he says, that's disgusting. So immediately he loves the entertainment, but he hates, he despises any real life, whatever. But he's all about like the fun, not real stuff, which establishes, okay, you understand this kid. Yeah. Todd, I understand now why you love this movie so much. It's because that's essentially you. But even though there's some comedic element, it's still categorized in some cases as a dramedy, so to speak. It is in the background of the Cuban Missile Crisis, but that is kind of necessary to tell this kind of a story and what this individual would go to get that real, raw, natural reaction. And it was so fun to watch from start to finish. When it comes to funny moments, in terms of laugh out loud, this movie didn't have a lot of them. For me, it was, oh my gosh, this is brilliant, I'm intrigued funny, rather than ha-ha funny, right? So, but there are some lines that did provide that, and they're very subtle, which I really love, right? The one that was my absolute favorite, that was just, oh man, actually there's two.
God, if they're the same two, I'm gonna be pissed.
Okay, no, Todd,
no, you go first because I have two.
No, this is your thing. You go with one, Greg, and then we'll come back with one, and then
I
you
couldn't-
pick your other.
I couldn't pick the one. That's my problem.
Okay.
You know what? I don't think anyone's going to pick that other. I'll do this one, and it's in the movie within the movie, and the doctor says, "Put this insecticide," and the doctor, and the man says, "Insecticide where?"
Right.
So
okay,
there we
there's one, and that was not
okay.
either of mine, so that's good.
Sweet.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, all those puns from the man thing, you know,
Yes.
all of them were so good. And I was gonna choose one of those, but I just can't get over, and it's because I have a stupid childish sense of humor. But the part that I laughed so hard at was when they have the spoon and they're like, "It's a man washing his backside." He's just making this motion that the reflection in the spoon looks. I laughed way too hard because it was.
That's what
so
happens
dumb.
when you don't have cell phones.
That's what it was like back in the day.
Exactly. That's what was so great about it. And it was just a small little detail, unnecessary to the rest of the movie, but necessary for those individuals to just establish those characters. Okay. So the love interest of Jean, played by Lisa Jacob from Mrs. Doubtfire, she is protesting during the scene from the trailer where it shows all the children in a drill for a nuclear attack. She's there saying, "You think this is all going to help? You all are crazy." So later on, he sees her, and she had gotten detention for a week, and he says, "Oh, that's rough." And she says, "Gandhi was put away for a year." And he says, "Oh, I don't know that many people here." And she just kind of walks off. But the second one that I felt was so subtle, and it was not only was it subtle, but it was also like you had to kind of think of it really quickly to really enjoy it, was my parents had a party last night, and my leftovers, they gave me a fondue sandwich. Your parents are having parties during this thing? Well, it was already melted. I could not stop. I had to pause. I could not stop laughing. That was one of the best. I mean, it could only work in that situation. So, like I mentioned earlier, okay, yeah, this is the background of the Cuban Missile Crisis. You could see people's legit fear, sure, but there was moments like that. That's just couldn't work anywhere else.
I got one that it's just Cathy Moriarty with her deadpan when she's dressed up as a nurse, and the little kid comes up, "Nurse, I cut my elbow." And she's like, "That looks horrible." That was it. And then I did laugh at the little in the school scene where it's red meat 3 times a day, and he's like,
"All right,
make sure you have your bacon, hamburger for lunch,
and then pork sandwich." It's like, damn, that's hilarious.
What happened to that? What happened to that food pyramid? Come on,
right. Okay. I did also want to throw out Todd. You had mentioned, I don't know if it was on this podcast or in conversation, that Joe Dante likes to use same people, right? Yes. So any of those fans that are also, any people out there that are also fans of Inner Space and Gremlins 2, Robert Picardo plays the movie theater manager. He was the cowboy in Inner Space and also the head of security in Gremlins 2. And this is where I thought he was, I mean, he's always great in all these movies, but again, just does a great job, right? And also just a small role from Dick Miller, who plays Murray Fudman in Gremlins 2 and the first one as well.
He's in every one of Joe Dante's movies until the day he died in 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
And right, Dick Miller was the cab driver in Inner Space. Now I'm remembering.
Yeah.
That's right. And then with the movie within the movie, I mean, for those Inner Space fans, it's just because it caught me. The dentist or the doctor in the movie within the movie was Jack's doctor in Inner Space, right? And then the general who showed up to lead the attack on the Mant was Mr. Scrimshaw, who is the antagonist from Inner Space. So I thought those guys were fun to see in this. Like, they know what he wants and he knows what he can get from him. So it's fun to watch. Like, I would just love to be on set with all these guys. I had heard Robert Picardo on the commentary for Interspace, which by the way has like 5 people, but it's not a hangout commentary. They actually talk about the movie, so I can actually stick with it. But he's great, and a lot of people give him credit for Star Trek. Not enough people give him credit for movies like these.
The Blu-ray, there is a nice special edition that came out probably maybe a year and a half ago. It has interviews with Joe Dante, the editor, cinematographer, the guy who played Mant, and it's got Joe Dante discusses the film. It's got the full-length version of the Mant film, so they edited it all together.
Yikes.
Some vintage making-ofs and a few more things, but yeah.
Alrighty. Is it streaming anywhere?
It is not currently streaming anywhere. You can rent it online, or on a premium. No, not a premium. You can rent it for pretty cheap on digital,
like $3 or something.
Yeah,
probably $2.99. Okay.
Oh,
well,
one last thing.
Yes,
there is another person that pops up that it's blink and you miss it. Before she got famous, Naomi Watts is in there real quick as the shopping cart girl.
The shopping cart girl. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody got bored with Transformers. What's up, Maiden? You're on TV.
You're like, those are not the same people from earlier.
Yeah, I totally changed. Listen, we're just going to give our ratings,
yes,
and then we're going to be done. And then I swear, like 5 minutes, we'll be out. So go back to Transformers, and I swear everything will be cool in like 5 minutes. Thanks, Aiden. All right. He didn't hear me at all because he
didn't.
Anyway, habit. This is what we mentioned theme park life before we started. It's the habit of it. You just get when you see like whatever. All right. So getting into the ratings. Now I'd mentioned that this won an award. Now I have a little pen here that I enjoy for my particular vice, whatever. I hit that in the beginning, and I just completely forgot about it until the end, which is rare to happen in movies, to be honest. Because usually there's like, some down parts in movies. It's like I can take a breath and just, okay, grab that real quick. But this, I was just laser focused. He tells a great story, and I was just laser focused from the entire time. And I would actually rank it a better movie than a comedy. Like I'd probably put it as a movie at a 4, and as a comedy at a 3.5. But I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible because in my heart, it's a 5. I love this movie, but I understand that I have a bias towards Joe Dante movies. So I'm trying to be objective here. Greg?
Well, yeah, so I really appreciated this. It kind of is a new take on a War of the Worlds kind of situation, fooling these people, so I like the idea of it, and as someone who's talked about the D-box seating at theaters over and over and over, this was really cool to have seen it, because that definitely didn't exist, as a major thing back in '93. So hadn't heard of this film, was pleasantly surprised. It was fun, it was funny. I just because same thing, like it went by so quick. And by the way, I also have to say it had a little nostalgic moment, having that music playing with the opening credits. I've not seen that in a long time, in film, so it did have that nostalgia pop for me. I have to give it a 5. I really enjoyed this film, and I don't see, if I'm just talking about how much I enjoyed it, I have to give it a 5.
No shocker for me. I mean, huge nostalgia on this one. Everything about it, 5.
Damn. Okay, well, I guess I thought when I immediately thought, okay, well, this is a 5. I thought I was being biased in my own heart. Apparently, that's not the case.
No.
So I'm just going to move to a fake phone number all the way around. We got a 555
for
Matinee. Damn right. Well deserved. Which, by the way, I did forget to mention, this was written for also wrestling fans. If you happen to watch, don't be fooled, because you'll see written by Jericho and Charlie Haas. Not the same Jericho and Charlie Haas. Relax. But highly recommended. Absolutely. Watch next opportunity you can. Fun movie from start to finish. And it's PG. Like, kid friendly.
Yeah.
So there we go. What's that, Todd?
I was to say I had it on with a kid and he didn't complain.
No kid will complain during a Joe Dante movie, I think.
Well, you might want to avoid the howling, but other than that,
fair. Just
and
pop in
Piranha.
Inner Space. I'm just all about Inner Space and Gremlins too. I could watch those.
I got another Dante one I'm saving for October. So
is it the Burbs?
Well, no, that we can double up the Dante too.
I don't mind.
I was thinking of another lesser known one. So
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for right now, we're going to be wrapping up this episode. This was Matinee from Joe Dante. We'll be back next week with a new episode and a new film to review and discuss. So be sure to tune in next week. That's Flesh Wound producer Todd, world famous juggler Greg Larson. I'm Ozzy V. We'll see you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.